Chapter 48. Alter and Sun Moon walked across the island beach in the same direction as Hunter had 2 nights earlier. On this particular night, there were 2 moons visible, one at a quarter state and the other at about half luminosity. However, combined, the light was strong enough for them to see the forest in good detail. The forest vegetation, thick and lush, was bathed in a silver-white light. Alter led the way. There were several times when she would look back and see nothing. She would whisper Sun Moon's name and then hear her response just a few meters behind her. She definitely was a ghost soul, Alter thought. They made their way quietly like one does when their life depended on it. As they came to a small cliff, Alter could feel a tap on her shoulder. She stopped, turned, and whispered as quietly as she knew how.
What is it?
Have you noticed the spirits?
Sun Moon whispered in return.
The what?
The spirits,
Her arms went out like a child, waving them in the air.
they are everywhere and of every kind.
Every kind of what?
Alter asked, not sure of what they were even talking about.
Of creatures. There are spirits of every mythical creature I have ever been told existed, and some I have never heard of. They are all here, like a collective menagerie of creatures lost in time. They are spirits. Their forms are transparent, so they are not of this world, but they have bodies somewhere, and all of them seem to be drifting that way.
Sun Moon pointed to their left.
And you think they will lead us to the dragons?
Sun Moon nodded with more sparkle in her eyes than Alter had seen before. Alter sighed softly.
Then you should lead. I'll follow.
Sun Moon nodded and veered to her left. Every so often she would giggle at what she saw. Even from behind, if Sun Moon stood still, she would instantly become invisible, as if she were part of the forest. After a while of following the spirit creatures, a voice suddenly startled them.
Why are you here?
There was a little brashness to the tone, and Sun Moon stepped back.
To find the dragons.
Sun Moon confessed to an apparently empty forest. A Keelan stepped forward, showing itself.
You are the second and third in as many days who have made this same venture. What is that slung over her shoulder?
It is a blowgun.
And where there is a blowgun, there is prey. Who is the prey?
The dragons are?
The Keelan laughed.
Have you seen these dragons with your own eyes?
We have poison.
Sun Moon explained.
From the willow bird.
From the willow bird.
The Keelan said, mulling the words as one does when one tastes something for the first time.
Ah, yes. That is a particularly strong poison. It could work, but why would I let you enter their world?
Sun Moon stepped forward with her arms out, addressing the Keelan formally.
These dragons are producing a hybrid race. This race will dominate in the sea, the land, and the air. They will dangle every creature of free will on their puppet strings. We will be prisoners in our own world, the world that we have been custodians of since we first came to this planet thousands of generations ago. We cannot be prisoners and be expected to stay on this planet. It is not the werewolf way. Thus, this planet will be a dragon planet, and aren't there enough of those already?
Sun Moon lowered her arms to her sides, waiting for the Keelan's response, for whom she seemed to have some familiarity.
If what you say is true, then you have this right. However, how do I know that your side of truth is the right side?
I just explained. It is why we are hunting the dragons, to kill them before they take our planet.
And how do you know that peace is not what they desire?
They want peace until their broods of new dragons are ready.
Ready for what?
Suppress any uprising.
Sun Moon answered.
And they wait for their unborn to wrest the planet from the grip of the werewolves. Do I have that right?
The Keelan asked. Alter cleared her throat and stepped forward.
I am honored to meet you. I am Alter.
She bowed slightly.
As you can see, I'm a servitor. A mythical creature like others you protect.
She came a little closer, lowering her voice to a whisper.
These dragons are not worth your protection, and I sense you know that. If the dragons were to try and take the planet now, they would either lose the battle, or they would kill hundreds, if not thousands, on both sides. They would prefer to avoid the bloodshed so as not to tarnish their royal promises of peace and prosperity for all. That is why they wait. And that is the only reason they claim to want peace.
Sun Moon nodded.
Isn't it true that the stability of peace is a better platform in which to build an empire of dominance? This kind of war is not about weapons. It is a war to create a peaceful transition from freedom to imprisonment for all but the hybrid dragons, and this is precisely what the queen and her king consort desire, a dominant empire without bloodshed. Yes, they desire peace, but only because it is easier to install their empire on this planet in peaceful times.
Sun Moon paused for a moment, staring inwardly, and then returned her gaze to the Keelan.
Will you help us?
I will not,
The Keelan said.
I have met these dragons. They are dangerous. One of them can stop time. The other can fly and shoot flames from the air. I would prefer to stay out of their way. My job as a curator of this island is too important to jeopardize. However, I will help you locate them. And what you do from there, that is your decision.
That will be enough, thank you.
Follow me then.
The Keelan said, walking in the same direction as the spirit creatures.
There is a doorway into their world. It's not far from here.
Sun Moon gave a hopeful glance to Alter, and the two followed the Keelan in silence. When they got to the hidden door, the Keelan turned around.
You are a shaman, yes?
Sun Moon nodded.
I am.
Are you familiar with the practice of spirit travel?
The Keelan asked.
Yes.
Then I would suggest that when you walk through that door,
The Keelan said, pointing one of her hoofed legs behind her.
you travel in spirit to locate the dragons. It is a large space, nearly a world unto itself. If you want to find them, this is the best way. Once you have them located, approach them with absolute stealth.
He glanced at Sun Moon.
Something you appear to know something about. However, know one thing. If they see you with that blowgun, you will be dead.
With that, the Keelan moved aside.
I will leave you to your mission.
Sun Moon and Alter pushed hard against the door and walked into a lush world of bioluminescent trees and flowers. It was equally dark inside the cavern, though the moonlight came through the hole in the ceiling hundreds of meters above them. It came into the cavern like a spotlight. Outside its perimeter of silver light was a bluish light of bioluminescence, keeping the entire cavern illuminated. Sun Moon sat down cross-legged on the ground and patted it with her hand, signaling to Alter to join her.
I will travel in spirit to find them. The Keelan is right. This place is much larger than I expected. We can't just walk around until we bump into them.
I'll keep an eye out while you do that.
Alter said, standing up and positioning herself behind some large bushes and trees. As she stood up, she thought she saw a shadow on the trees at the limits of her vision. It was moving. It was huge. She immediately looked up, and there he was, Obsidian, flying in a broad circle around the interior of the cavern like a sentinel guarding his queen. Alter instantly ducked down, her hands clicking to get Sun Moon's attention.
What?
Sun Moon whispered, sensing something was urgent.
Obsidian is up there.
Alter pointed.
He's flying around?
He's patrolling the airspace inside here.
Alter whispered.
We need to be sure we're hidden.
We?
Okay, I do. But just the same, we have to be extra careful with our movement.
Doesn't he sleep?
None of us who were brought to this world sleep. Who sleeps in a dream?
One moment.
Sun Moon closed her eyes again for about 5 seconds and then opened them.
I know where she is.
And you know the path to find her.
I do.
Sun Moon stood up.
Show me where obsidian is?
Alter pointed, and Sun Moon let out a sound that could only be described as startled awe.
Whoa! Keep your voice down.
Alter instructed in a harsh whisper.
I'm not sure how keen his hearing is, but let's not take any chances.
Alter poked her head up.
He's coming this way.
The two of them crouched down underneath the canopy of tree branches and bushes. Their two heads were separated by only a few centimeters.
He is an amazing creature.
Sun Moon gushed.
Amazing!
Sun Moon had been traveling to another tribe when the travelers had come to her world. She had just met the travelers but had never seen the Queen or Obsidian before. She had only heard about them. How can one be fully prepared for the majesty of an air dragon? They crouched in total silence as they felt the shadow move over them. Sun Moon looked up and watched as the underside of Obsidian's full body, only about 30 meters above them, floated by, itself looking like a shadow of indeterminate substance. Once it had passed, and the currents of the light breeze abated, they stood to their feet.
Where is the Queen?
Alter asked with urgency in her voice.
Follow me.
They walked under the cover of tree branches whenever they could, but when they had to walk in a clearing, they always waited until Obsidian was on the other side of the cavern. When he came overhead, they always ducked beneath the cover of trees. Dragons had long evolved excellent eyesight. Because of their huge size, their eyes could extract light that others could not see. In the spectrum of light, infrared could be seen as a heat signature, and while there were many animals within the huge cavern, Obsidian could judge the sizes of the infrared frequencies he saw, and anything large would alert him to a potential predator of the Queen. On one pass, he thought he saw such a creature, large and still, as if it were hiding. He vowed on his next pass to investigate. He circled a little tighter, zeroing in on the zone of his concern. When he got there, he again saw the infrared light of a large creature and a smaller creature huddled together, either in fear or cunning stealth, and it would be impossible for him to know which, unless he lit up the space and could see clearly. He let loose a fire stream just over the tops of the trees that sheltered the two hiding creatures, and he couldn't tell for sure, but one of them looked like a servitor, which could only mean that Alter was there. And if it was Alter, there would be no good reason for her to come at night, unbidden by the Queen. He decided to land and confront the two creatures. As he circled, he could not find the infrared signatures of two creatures. There was only one, and this one he knew well. He also knew this creature was the slipperiest of all creatures, and therefore difficult to trust.